Cool. So first main skill is handstand push-up. So there's 3 stages to how we're gonna break that down. Level 1 is gonna be a straddle. So that is feet wider than your hip width, folding forward. Top of the head is your target to land in front of the hands, so you create that tripod. So from here, coming down to touch the forehead and pressing back up. That's level 1. Level 2 is pike. So that's on an elevated surface. Ideally, legs are straight for your pike, but any hamstring limitation, you can definitely bend the knee and still be able to do this successfully. Same thing, target is forehead, touching to the ground and pressing back up. And then your last one is the full chest to wall handstand, which I'll demo that afterwards. So it goes level 1 straddle, level 2 pike, level 3 fully against the wall. How I've written the notes in the program is they should be able to do 5 clean reps before they move to the next level. Ways to bridge the gap between each level that you're doing is decreasing the range of motion with yoga blocks. So whether it's the straddle, the pike, or a chest to wall, just have the target of your forehead be a higher surface so they can still set up, come down, and press back up. So that's like in a nutshell how you'll coach the handstand push-up in terms of progressions that you're doing. Technically, what we're looking for is the shoulders should stay elevated the whole time you're doing the movement, and the abs should crunch. So I'll try and make this obvious. The main thing that we see as an error in handstand push-up is that expansion of the torso as they're pressing back up. So it would look like this. Most people will be able to set here, crunching through the abs. They'll come down, and then as they're pressing up, opening up through the abs and finishing their position here. Was that a bad example of it? Oh, what did I do?
A bad example.
Was it not obvious that I was arching?
Yeah, like you just used all your strength and you had a flat back.
Oh, well.
You just like stuck your bum down.
Okay, let me try again then. That's an arch, yeah?
Yeah, for you.
Is it really? But it should be, if I can at least like exaggerate, that's crunching. So when you lose that position, that's breaking. It happens involuntarily to the people doing it. So you're just looking for that break in the torso. Even like looking at how the clothes that they're wearing fold or change on the way up is a sign that they're losing that position. So like I said, by running these skills with the RPE of like 5 or 6, you should be able to identify that and put them at the right level with that as the standard. So like, are they successfully able to do the rep, keeping the abs crunch without any change? That's the right level. If they're progressing, they're getting the reps in, but you're seeing that break every time they're doing the movement. Technically, it's too difficult for them to hold on to the position, okay? So base it on that. Obviously, the harder the progression, the more likely that will happen if they haven't understood how to do it and why. You'll see on these skills as well, I've written it up as a what the skill is, the levels, how to progress them, and then a note on the technique. Like if you want to go, how do I coach this again? You can just have a look at the notes here to see what cues there are. So for the technique, open shoulders, hips stacked on top, abs crunched. That's what I was just talking about, is your start position. They will then, keeping the shoulders elevated and the abs crunched, close that shoulder angle. Then they'll perform the handstand push-up, lock the elbows out, and open up the shoulders again. So this is the second part of the handstand push-up, is I was showing you guys what a handstand push-up looks like in its entirety. That phase of closing and pressing and opening back up, it happens smoothly throughout a good rep, but because we're trying to teach the technique, we're gonna break that down into 2 steps. So how you guys are gonna coach it, no matter what stage they're up to, is this. So it's what I did before, it's just we're breaking it down. This is our start. We then close the shoulder angle and pause. down into your handstand push-up and back up, and then open your shoulders at the top. So you're purposely segmenting the movement so they understand where to go for the press and where to go to finish with a stable, completed position. So with the chest to wall, I'll be a bit briefer with this because it's quite difficult to do well. And again, going back to the RPE of like 5 or 6, there's not many people that will be doing chest to wall with an RPE 5 to 6. But I will still just touch on it. Set it up, same thing, nice and elevated shoulders, and then close the angle, go down to forehead touching to the floor, press back up, and then open. Like I said, as it gets harder, those compensations become way more obvious. I'll try to do one clean rep. So I try to hollow out as much as I can, crunching the abs, pushing tall, close the shoulder angle first, come down to my forehead touching to the floor, pressing up, and then open the angle from there. A bad rep would be if, as I'm coming up, I'm arching through the back and lost that position. Probably, if you get someone that's that strong that they're doing this, you just want to make sure you're giving them some solid cues. What you should be looking for is that their forearm stays vertical the whole time. So you don't want to see them go down and their forearms are like angled back to the wall. It shows they're just using the wall a lot to do their whole movement. So be looking at that vertical angle of the forearm. One thing that should be helpful, this really helped me, is in this position, even if you don't want to, the wall can encourage you to arch. So a good cue is to press your toes into the wall as you're coming up, and that helps to keep that hollow position. Yeah, it only really is appropriate if you've done handstand push-up or they're very, very strong, but they're just things to have in your back pocket for cues to help. Yeah. All right.